Changpeng Cao, CZ, the CEO, ex-CEO of Binance, who has stepped down, obviously, due to what's been happening, has been sentenced to federal prison. It is below the guidelines, or not guidelines, but recommendations of 3 years that everyone was expecting. Well, not expecting everyone, but the prosecution wanted that. Most people thought it would be 1.5 years, but it's actually 4 months. So, not too bad. And maybe with good behavior, he comes out even earlier than that. I don't know how it works for such short stints, but that's good. It's still bad because you're going to prison, and it's not going to be fun. But CZ, honestly, again, I am a big proponent. I love Binance. I'm a big proponent. So obviously, I have my stance that a lot of these crypto criminals, or even in this case, I don't think any crime was necessarily committed. That's just my opinion. That was a different case for FTX. But even in FTX's case, I still think... my arguments are this. For non-violent, white-collar crime, irregardless of the value, yes, the value should make a difference in terms of sentencing. You know, instead of 1 year, you're serving 10 years or 15 years. But there shouldn't ever be, oh, you're serving a lifetime. You're facing 100 years in prison. You're facing 80 years in prison. Such crazy amounts when you have violent, multiple offenders, repeat offenders that are sitting in prison, that as soon as they get out of prison, they do a lot of bad things that I can't describe here, but you can imagine, all that stuff. So those guys get out, they do it all over again, and then get sent back, and some of them still get out again. It's like, what's going on? Those guys are not serving. Some of them are, rightfully so, lifetime behind bar, or, they're sitting on a certain row where eventually they're going to stop living on that row, but the taxpayer pays for them for like the next 30, 40 years up until, they are deceased from multiple methods of choice. But you have people that have done heinous crimes. They're coming out in 10 years. They're coming out in 15 years. They're coming out faster than some of these white-collar criminals. And that doesn't make sense to me, because it's not just, about what's happening today. I'm thinking about the future. What's going to happen in 20 years when you have a lot of these crypto criminals that are sentenced, and slightly every year there's worse and worse changes where eventually it turns into, oh, you did tax fraud for $100,000. Well, instead of serving a couple of years in prison, you're going to be serving 20. And it's like, whoa, the guidelines might change. So anyways, CZ and his company, well, some people might say that there have been some crimes committed. He is going to be the richest person who's ever been in prison. He's worth over $40 billion. And you think he cares? He doesn't. He's happy. Well, I think he's not happy with the fact that he has to go to prison, but he's happy with the fact that he doesn't have to serve 3 years or 1.5 years. And maybe with good behavior, it might be 3.5 months or whatever. It's not going to be fun, but obviously he's not going to get into the most violent sections. It still is something risky, because everyone in the prison's gonna know that guy's rich, that guy's got money. So just for that, I would want as much protection as possible, because you have a bunch of criminals. I mean, it's not the safest place in the world, but they might put him in a special ward, or solitary confinement would be just silly for something like that. I don't know how it's going to work, but, you had celebrities, you had Lil Wayne and whatnot, multimillionaires of the rap status that were in bars, and they were generally kept in the safer parts of the prison, right? So that's interesting. CZ's going to jail. Now, what's interesting is when CZ goes into jail, his fortune is going to continue to grow. He was forced to pay a $50 million fee. The company Binance was forced to pay a $4.5 million penalty, billion with a B, and they are still getting sued by the SEC. And, there was improper handling of anti-money laundering measures and whatnot, but still, CZ's going to come out, and most likely his fortune is going to grow, and he can be retired. He can do whatever he wants for the rest of his life, and he could grow his $40 billion to $200 billion by the end of his life, or maybe even more, who knows, by just investing in real estate and stocks and crypto and all this stuff. And the craziest part is by just retaining his control over Binance. Yes, he was forced to step down by the Justice Department, but he has reportedly over 90% stake in Binance. He could do whatever he wants. He can take all the money that's not invested in that company, invest in real estate, stocks, whatever he wants, and do whatever. And his next couple generations are chilling like a villain. That is that. He's going to prison, but it's only for a short while. So he'll be out before summer's over. Anyways, that is that. Thanks for watching today, and have a great rest of your day.